Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to the Disconnected. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that for some people might be a little controversial, but I think it's important to get the right information out there. So, we're going to be talking about bootlegs. We're going to be talking about everything from custom slipcovers to full on trademark sabotage to selling mass produced bootlegs from different countries. If that interests you, hang out. Let's take a look. So what is a bootleg? A bootleg could be one of a few different things. There are bootlegs where there is an exact copy of a product. A bootleg can be something where a product will never have a chance of coming out, so somebody makes their own product and then sells that. A bootleg could be something as simple as custom packaging. There are many different ways that bootlegs have existed, and I think that we can go over a few examples of them and hopefully get you to tell the difference between them and see if it's something that you care about. And if it is, give you the tools and the knowledge you need to pay attention and things to look out for those bootlegs. So one of those examples that I brought up is for things that will never come out. And an example of one of those that will never come out is a bootleg that I actually own. I've got a copy of the Muppet Babies, the cartoon from I think it's from the 90s. It might have even been from the 80s. It is on a Blu-ray, in a Blu-ray case, with custom homemade art. It is fairly low quality. It literally comes on 2 discs that say Muppet Babies 1 and the number 2. Because these are in very low quality standard definition, all of the episodes that they ever made for Muppet Babies fit on these 2 Blu-rays. Now, there are a couple other examples of bootlegs that exist. One of them is when somebody takes a digital product and can make it into a physical product. An example of that is this release of Panic Room. This still does not have a Blu-ray release. Panic Room came out ages ago. It should have had a Blu-ray release a very long time ago, and no clue why we don't have one yet. But this is a decent release. It's got disc art and everything. I have this because I got it years ago, and I wanted a high-def release of this on disc, and it still has not come out. Another example of a bootleg that I brought up is that there are custom packaging options. One of those that I own is this custom steelbook of Savage Streets. I got this in a Facebook Raz or raffle group, basically. It has custom art that has been printed on each side. From afar, it looks decent, but if you get up close, I'll try to take some very up-close pictures and insert them here. You can see it's sort of pixelated. On the inside, there's even art on the inside. I can't move my hand, but you'll get the gist of what is there. So other custom packaging, there's been custom slipcovers that have been made, there's custom art that has been made, there's even custom discs that have been made. People have, for example, the Halloween 15 disc collection or even the 10 disc collection from Scream Factory that came out. There are bootleggers that have created their own version of Halloween 1 and 2 that makes a single movie between the two of them. So it's one seamless multiple hour movie where it is edited in a way that makes it appear as if it never ends, which is fantastic. Because it was done by somebody else custom, it will never be released anywhere else like that. It is the only place that will be done. Now, that's where it gets not even legally shaky, that is full-on illegal. It's important to keep in context that not only is editing 2 movies together to make one cohesive movie yourself illegal, all of these other things are technically illegal. You are selling art and materials that you have not created yourself, that are copyrighted, trademarked, whatever you want to call the different methods that you're doing this. And it is it's not even a morally gray area. It is wrong. You are taking art that somebody else created, and for the people that make them, they are generally profiting off of them. I get why. I don't want to say I condone it or I stand up for it, but I do understand why. For something like the Halloween 1 and 2 cut, that will never come out, and that's a really cool experience. There's an example of another one like that. There is the famed Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, The Whole Bloody Affair, that has been advertised as being shown by Tarantino in Los Angeles before, that has never gotten a physical media release, and it likely never will. But there are hundreds of bootlegs that have been released of that over the years that people have put it together themselves to create a seamless, long movie of Kill Bill 1 and 2 together that they're calling The Whole Bloody Affair. But none of them have been approved by Quentin Tarantino. None of them are legal in the least bit, but they're out there. You can find them. So why is this important? This is important because there are titles that go out of print or that are unavailable in a certain region that people sell, and then consumers unknowingly are buying something that is a bootleg. They are technically participating in an illegal act, perhaps unbeknownst to them. In some eBay listings, you'll see the words custom and not think anything of it. You'll see the word mod, M-O-D, that stands for made on demand. They are making them at home so that you can have this release in your hand. And some of these titles that go out of print are very expensive. There are some Scream Factory titles that are notorious for being bootlegged. One of them, that is probably the most expensive Scream Factory release now, is Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. This release, this is a legit copy. This is from Scream Factory, and this release, the real version, goes for multiple hundreds of dollars on eBay because it's been out of print for years. That's crazy to begin with. When it came out on sale, you could find this for less than 20 bucks. But this release was commonly bootlegged from Brazil. There were printers in Brazil that copied the original scan of the art, mass-produced it, and then used a computer to make duplicates of these discs, and then they were selling them for the same price as the out-of-print Scream Factory release. When you're going to be sending somebody $200 on eBay for a release, first of all, try not to ever do that unless you're crazy about, copying everything from a certain line or something, or you have to own these movies for some reason. $200 is a lot. But if you're spending $200, you probably think you're getting a real Scream Factory 2-disc pack of Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. When you are getting something from a bootlegger, it's a straight out lie. You are getting a product that you did not think that you were paying for. Now, another commonly bootleg title from Scream Factory is The Return of the Living Dead. This is, in the United States, this is the best release of this movie that has ever existed. It has almost all of the music rights intact. There is a better release of this from the UK, but this is the best domestic release of this title. This is one that had not only the disc bootlegged, but the slipcover was getting bootlegged so that they could sell it for more money on eBay. And that is insanity. I'm going to put in a couple pictures here of somebody that had sent me some pictures of a bootleg slipcover that was being sold on eBay that they found was being mass-produced by this one seller. And it is a common thing for these places to try to sell these copies if they're just going to keep getting away with it. So you're sitting at home and you have a copy of Return of the Living Dead, and you're curious, is mine legit? I didn't buy it from Scream Factory. I bought it from somebody in a Facebook group, or I bought it on eBay. I want to know if it's real. Or, even worse, I spent, $185 on this release on eBay. How do I know I didn't buy this from somebody in Brazil that had been mass producing it? Let me show you a picture here. So this disc here, this is the actual legit disc from Slumber Party Massacre 2 from Scream Factory. You can see that it is silver in color. There's the reflection of the camera taking the picture and everything. No other real good way to take a picture of something that's reflective. And here is a picture of a burned disc. The black coloring here means that this was done as a rewritable or burnable disc. Now, you'll probably recognize that that same coloring used to be intact on something like I think there was PlayStation discs that had that same coloring. I know that there's some mass-produced discs that used to have the same. It's also important to realize bootlegs exist for other physical media. There are bootleg cassettes, there are bootleg CDs, there are bootleg vinyls. I mean, there are vinyl records where people take the soundboard recording from some artist, they get access to those masters, they master it, and then they put it on a vinyl, and then they sell it for hundreds of dollars because nobody else has that release from this big famous artist. Marilyn Manson used to have some bootlegs that were going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars just because they could not be found. They did not exist. There was no official release, so this was the only place to get them. For something like that, it's a little more morally ambiguous, you could say. You're not taking somebody's created product and duplicating it, but you are taking something that didn't exist and selling somebody else's art still in that way, or buying somebody else's art. Now, that might be important to you. I'm not here to make that call for you. Whatever. There are a couple more things to say on this topic. One is just know what you're doing. You can make a choice as a person whether you want to take part in it or not. I personally do not buy bootlegs anymore, although some of these things like that Halloween 1 and 2 re-edit has certainly tempted me, and I still consider it. I've got all these other copies of Halloween at my house. Why not have this awesome fan edit that I can put together in my Scream Factory 15 disc collection and just have to have? It's really an interesting thing, at least. But on the other hand, one of the things to bring up is that I actually was involved in the entertainment industry for a little while as a volunteer. I volunteered at the radio station. I was friends with bands. I had been hosting shows at my house. I've been in some music videos. I've helped film some music videos. I still try to do some of that. We hosted a couple shows in this current house that we're living in the last couple of years. I've seen bands that I know personally literally stop existing as a band because they can't even afford to drive to the next town. And yes, a lot of the time that was in, where that was common to be happening, was between 2004 and 2009, when music piracy was at its worst. And that's less of a problem now that everybody is streaming digitally on Spotify and Apple Music and everything else. But it was a problem. I mean, I've seen friends that I've had literally have things stolen from them, basically art stolen from them, and then uploaded on the internet where people are not paying them their fair share. That still exists today, unfortunately. Here is a picture that was posted by Third Window Films in the UK. They recently put out this title, and if you Google the name of their release without the words Blu-ray or without Third Window Films, because why would you, the entire first page of results are all torrents of the movie. It is a full high-def scan of their release uploaded to torrent sites, and they're pissed. I mean, of course. They put all this hard work and money and effort and time into releasing a big product, and it has been fully ripped off and being sold elsewhere online. That's not cool. I mean, if there's a legit release of something, you should be buying the legit release. If you can't afford it, save up, buy it later. For example, if Muppet Babies ever comes out, I will probably buy 2 copies of it, just to make up for this that I had bought for like $6 years ago. I will throw this away if that ever happens, and then I will have a copy for myself, and I will gift the one that is extra to somebody else just to make up for it. There's no reason not to. When Panic Room gets a disc release, I will happily get rid of that and buy the legit release. That is very important that people do that. I think there's a disconnect where people don't realize that piracy hurts real people. And these real people, if you're pirating their content, it's hurting people that you like and admire and appreciate something about these people. For example, the Third Window Films thing, if you are downloading a torrent of this release that they put out, you appreciate the work that they've done. Why not support them? Because if you don't support them and the company ceases to exist, the things that you appreciate will cease to exist. But on the other end of the spectrum, there are times when bootlegs are important. For example, China has instituted some recent laws, and there's a lot of discussion right now around Hong Kong cinema. There are movie releases that are likely never going to be able to come out that were done in Hong Kong. And we will probably never have full uncut releases that we should have. And there's a couple things that go into that. One is, of course, that China is not doing what they can to preserve the actual elements. That's happening in a few different places. It's happening in Brazil, happening in China, happening, I believe there were some Russian films recently that were reported on being lost. That is one aspect, but the legal aspect of where China has this law against the actual content being able to be released, we can't help that. If there is an existing master and they just say, no, it's not allowed, like, that's bull. We should be able to have those movies put out for the world to be able to experience. And it's ridiculous that it's come to that. But if the only way you're going to be able to see one of these movies that is going to be censored or never come out, I mean, a bootleg might be the right thing in that point. If governments are trying to censor something like this, it is probably a better thing if we get those releases. We should see why they're trying to censor it. And censorship is rarely ever a good thing. Again, bootlegs are sort of close to home to me. They're something that I know, that I've experienced, that I've seen people at the lowest of lows because of bootlegs, and I don't want to see that happen to some of these other companies. So support where you can. If you have bootlegs and you're choosing to go down that route and something is a physical release, go support the physical release. By all means, please make up for it. Do something you can to keep these companies afloat. There's no reason to turn it into anything different than that, but just know that they're doing something that you appreciate, so you should be able to show your appreciation. This one YouTube video is not going to stop bootlegging. It's not going to save any jobs. It's probably not even going to change many minds. Really, all I want to be able to do is have you understand the decisions you're making, but then also to be a safe consumer. If you're, trying to get all of the 88 Films Jackie Chan releases and you come across something that says custom 88 Films Operation Condor limited edition release, and you just glide over that word custom, you might pay a little more for something that is made in somebody's house and never know it, and that's not cool. So I hope this helped, and I hope you understand where I was getting at. Happy to discuss in the comments, give more opinions. I know there's a lot to go through in a brief YouTube video that this could be litigated for hours and hours and hours. Bootlegs are a very vague topic, and it's something that not a lot of people deal with nowadays. So when they hear about it, it's something different that they're understanding altogether. So if you have a question, let me know. I will not hesitate to discuss. I always am in the comments. I'm always here. I do not ever ignore anything. So if there's something you want to ask, let me know down below and I'll be here for you. All that being said, that's all I've got. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. We are growing rapidly over the last couple months. I greatly appreciate that. The live shows on every Thursday night has been a big deal. We have our October watch along that we are starting right now, basically. And if you haven't got in on it, come join in. I've got the list up on Google Docs, and we are going to have discussions every single Thursday of what we've been watching. And we're probably going to be doing more watch-alongs than I expected, where we're actually watching the movie together. So subscribe, give the video a like, sign up for some notifications on these. It's super important and helps the channel grow. We've already got a pretty sizable community, and we're doing better every single day. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time, and as usual, from one collector, even of bootlegs, to all of you, have a good night.